Why do people annoy us? Why do situations annoy us? And why do we get impatient? Why do we get attached to things and people and places? Yeah. Why do we get jealous? You ever been jealous? Yeah. And the pain that comes from all of these minds, all these negative minds, they're called delusions, and the pain that comes from them is suffering. And so we experience this suffering, we experience the problems, and it's all to do with the way we relate to the external world. If we could be more considerate and more loving and compassionate, that would help a great deal. But that is not enough. We need to have wisdom as well. Buddha taught the two aspects of Buddha's teachings. One is compassion, the other is wisdom. So it's like two wings of a bird. If we have both wings, then we can fly to the state of enlightenment. But if we only have one wing, we just go around in circles. So we need both. We need both compassion and we need wisdom. So it's wisdom I want to talk about tonight. So we begin with liberating prayer, and then we'll do a meditation.
O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request from the depths of my heart, please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing banquet of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you, may all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may
And so we can meditate. So in meditation is good to have a good posture. So we try to sit with a straight back. If you wish, you can place the back of your right hand in the palm of your left. Raise the thumbs so the tips of your thumbs touch gently together. And relax your hands into your lap. You gently close your eyes, close your mouth. Often when we sit down to meditate, we have many distractions. It becomes difficult to focus our mind on one thing. But we can try to deal with these distractions by just imagining that they dissolve into empty space and disappear. So mainly our distractions are about the outside world. So we can imagine that the whole world is gradually disappearing from the edges inwards, like the whole planet Earth, just dissolving from the edges inwards. So whole cities and populations, great countries and mountain ranges and oceans, everything just disappearing into space. And this goes on until all that remains is this city. As if the city is suspended alone in empty space. Everything beyond that has disappeared. And then even the city itself begins to dissolve away. The river, the docks, the great buildings, the houses, the schools, the parks, all the shops, and the whole population just disappearing into space until all that remains is this room, as if the room itself and everything in it is suspended alone in empty space. And then even the room itself begins to dissolve. First the ceiling, and then the walls, all the statues, everyone else in the room, and all the furniture. And then finally, the floor and the chair on which you're sitting, until all that remains is you, your body and your mind. Now bring your mind just to watch the rhythm of your breathing. And as you breathe in and breathe out, try to notice a feeling at the tip of your nose. Cool as you breathe in, warm as you breathe out. But the difference in feeling is very slight, barely noticeable. But it's going on all the time. Try to find that feeling at the tip of your nose. And then once you find it, just allow your whole mind to relax into that feeling. As if the feeling occupies your whole mind Nothing else is appearing. Only that feeling. So the feeling is your mind, and your mind is the feeling. And just relax into that feeling. And as you hold your mind on the feeling, because you relax into it, you notice your mind becomes still. It's not jumping around to distracting thoughts. And then from the stillness of your own mind comes a deep feeling of peace and contentment. Just naturally. If our mind becomes free of the turbulence of distracting thoughts, then deep feeling of happiness and contentment will naturally arise. It's as if we're getting in touch with our basic mind, like a clear sky with no clouds, just pure mind. And from this stillness comes happiness and peace and contentment. If you become familiar with this meditation and familiar with the experience of peace and contentment, it carries over into your daily life. And you naturally find that you become more peaceful, less reactive, more patient, more kind, more considerate. Just because you enjoy this experience of peace and contentment. So now you can begin to relax your concentration. Try to remember any feelings of peace and contentment that you had. You can bring them back again anytime and anywhere. So now you can relax your concentration, and when you're ready you can arise from meditation, allowing your mind to come back to your surroundings. Do you ever have dreams or nightmares? You don't have to tell me what your dreams are. But if you have dreams, and then in the morning, you know the things you were dreaming about, they're not there. Do you go searching for them? Do you go searching for the people who appeared in your dreams, or the places, or whatever? Probably not. Why not? They were appearing to your mind. They were appearances to your own mind. But you know they weren't real. There was no elephant in the room. There's no, when you wake up, you don't put your feet in the sand. If you're dreaming about being on a desert island beach or whatever, you don't have to go searching. You know intuitively that the things that were appearing in your dream weren't real. And so even if they were so exciting and amazing, and you had these real feelings while you were asleep, you know, oh, it's just a dream. Or if there's real fear, there's being chased by someone with a chainsaw and a hockey mask or something, then you know you have no fear when you're waking up, because you know it wasn't real. How would it be if our waking world was the same as our dreaming world? If you knew it wasn't real, if you knew it was just an appearance to your waking mind. The problem is we never ever think that is possible. We think that when we're awake, there are things out there are real. They truly exist in exactly the way in which they appear. Isn't that right? Yeah. So if there is someone with a chainsaw chasing you, you know, you kind of develop real fear. Or this if Brad Pitt is appearing, then you just get so excited, or whatever. Or whatever, I don't know. So, why do we have those experiences when we know they're not? If they were just like dreaming, we wouldn't respond to them, we wouldn't worry about them. We would just abide in a state of peace and relax all the time. But the thing is, we do not experience the world in a way in which it really exists. And this is going to blow your mind. But you need your mind blown. What I'm going to say is that everything that you see and hear and smell and taste and touch in your waking world doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. It's just, it only exists as an appearance to your own mind. Just like when we're dreaming. Those things that appear in your dreams, when we're out and there are things that are appearing in your daily life, in your waking world, the same. Just appearances to your own mind. If they were other than just appearances to your own mind, and you went out and searched for them, for the things that were really appearing to you, if you went out and searched for them, then presumably, if they really exist, you'd be able to find them. But what if you can't find them when you search? You have to conclude that they don't exist. Right? If you search for something, if something exists, then if you search for it, you'd be able to find it. If you search in every possibility where it could exist, you'd be able to find it if it really existed in the way in which you think it does. But the corollary is true also. If you're unable to find it, having searched everywhere, you're forced to conclude it doesn't exist. Yeah? Yes, do you agree with me? Please agree with me. Otherwise we can go home. This is just natural. If something really exists, then you'll be able to find it. If you search everywhere. But if you searched everywhere and you can't find it, you're forced to conclude it doesn't exist because it is unfindable. Yeah. So take your body, for example. You all think you know your body. Yeah. Yes, no. So if you, well, if you know your body, experiment with me. Try and take your finger and point to your body. Yeah. There you are, you can do it. So you point to your body, but you're not actually pointing to your body. You're pointing to something that is not your body. What are you pointing to? Your chest, your head, your shoulder, your arm. Are we saying that each of these is your body? Can't be, because there's something else. Your arm is a non-body, is a different thing from a body. So we're gone, point to your body, have another go, and have another go after that. But all this is just a collection of things, none of which is body. Your head is not your body, your skin is not your body, your eyes are not your body, your chest, your lungs, your heart, your legs, your limbs, your fingernails. None of these things is your body. So all we have is a collection of things that are not body. Well, some people will say, well, it's the collection of all these things that is the body. Well, it's the collection of non-bodies. How does that become a body? A collection of non-bodies can't suddenly become a body, can it? No. And also, each thing is part of my body, as if my body is the possessor of the part. My body is the possessor of its heart, of its head and its chest and so on. So if body is the possessor and heart is the thing that is possessed, they're two different things. The possessor can never be the thing, the same as the thing that is possessed. Possessor and possessed can never be the same. So there's no single part of your body that can be your body. And then it's not the collection of parts. If there was such a thing as a collection, if you chopped up your body, imagine chopping up your body, throwing away all the parts, then the thing collection should remain. Should it not? If there is really a thing that is called collection, that is different from any of the parts, you throw away all the parts and the collection should remain. But if you throw away all the parts, what remains? No body. So what we've done is search for a body within its parts, within the collection of parts, and we come to realize it's neither of those things. The only possible place left is where our body could exist, is separate from all of the parts. You ever try thinking about your body without thinking of one of the parts? See if you can do that. It's impossible. You can't think of a body without thinking of a part. So your body and its parts always appear simultaneously. So you cannot have a body that is entirely separate from all the parts of your body. Yeah, is that right? I know it's a lot of mental gymnastics we're doing, but just stick with me and we'll get to this extraordinary conclusion. So we've searched in every location as one of the parts. There's a collection of parts separate from parts of your body, and we have not found the body anywhere. There's nowhere else to look. We've searched everywhere. We have not found the body that we normally see. And so we've, as I said earlier, we're forced to conclude that the body that we normally see does not exist. Ooh. What we normally see is a body that exists in and of itself, completely separate from mind. As if we weren't thinking about it, our body would still exist. You know. So, you see, our body only exists in dependence upon other things that are different from it. So, for example, your body came into existence as a result of your parents getting together. No? Or were you like me? So my mother told me I was born in a cabbage patch. It took me several years to figure this out. Anyway, but generally we come into existence in dependence upon our parents, and dependence upon so many other things. Your body right now arises in dependence upon countless other things, everything you've experienced throughout your life. And so you cannot say that your body exists in isolation. And what we come to realize, it doesn't exist in isolation from the way we think about it. And yet we grasp at our body. We think it's so precious, so important, that anything that touches it and so on, we avoid it like the plague. And then it's the same with other people's bodies. We grasp at their body as truly existent in the same way we grasp at ourselves as truly existent. But when you search for someone else's body, it's the same thing. You find parts of their body, and you find a collection of parts, none of which is their body, and the body doesn't exist separate from their parts. And so where is the body? Where is the body? Where is their body that you normally see? Where is your body that you normally see? It doesn't exist. It's not to say that there is no body that exists, but the body you normally see that exists separately of everything else, independently from its own side, that body doesn't exist. And yet, we have a body. But what is our body? Other than a thought or a name. Same when you're thinking, when your body's appearing in your dream. What body is that that's appearing in your dream? It's just a thought of your body. Same, because we cannot find the body we normally see, we're forced to conclude that that body doesn't exist, but the appearance of body does exist. Or the name of body does exist. So the implication of this is that everything, this applies not just to bodies, it applies to your car. For example, when you think, oh, that's my car. Well, in some sense, it is your car. Because you can open the door, you can get in, turn the key, and off you go. It functions to take you places. And they'd be crazy to deny that is. But when you ask yourself, well, what is the real car? Is the real car the bodywork? Or is it the engine, or the transmission, or the tires, or the steering wheel, or the upholstery? What is the car? The car is just an idea. And you can begin to realize how this applies to everything. Everything that we know. There's even this very room. Try and find the room. You come to realize that it's our mind that's creating everything. And in two particular ways. From karma, we know that every time we engage in an action, we create a potential to experience the result of that action. Good actions lead to good results, bad actions lead to bad results, suffering, problems, difficulties. But somehow or other, we've created the good actions to be here together in this amazing room, thinking about Buddha's teachings, thinking about how we can improve ourselves, improve our mind. And so this place appears to us. But when we ask ourselves, well, what really is this place? It's nothing more than just appearances to our mind. It's appearing because we've created the karma for it to appear. We're not... The real issue is not what exists. This would be silly to say this room doesn't exist. The real issue is, how does the room exist? The real issue is, how does your body exist? How does other people's bodies exist? How does yourself exist? How do other people's selves exist? How does your car exist? They all exist ultimately as just appearances, our thoughts to our mind. And if our mind is creating everything, you realize that your mind is the only thing you have control over. So if you want a more peaceful mind, if you want a more peaceful world, you have to have a more peaceful mind. If you want to get rid of all your enemies and just have only friends, you don't have to kill off all the people you regard as your enemy. All you have to do is change your mind and come to think of them as your friend. Come to marvel at their extraordinary qualities and how amazing they actually are. Because even the most evil person, in Buddhism the word evil simply means that which is the cause of suffering. Even the most evil person who's causing the most suffering in the world, they still have people who adore them. So who's right? Is it you who hate them? Or is it the other people who adore them? So you could be adoring them even though. So the task is, if from a Buddhist perspective, And you find this in many of Geshe-la's texts. From a Buddha's perspective, living beings have no faults. Living beings have no faults. What we are really is just a bunch of potentials. We have potentials to experience suffering, but we also have potentials to experience great joy and happiness. And all we have to do is get rid of the unpleasant potentials that we've generated by our negative minds in the past, and cultivate the positive potentials that we have in our mind. So eventually all we're left with is positive potentials to experience more joy and happiness, and to be able to give that same joy and happiness to other people. That's the whole Buddha's path in 2 sentences. Yeah. And it is possible to have love and compassion for everyone without exception, because everyone that you see and perceive is simply an appearance to your own mind. And so then if you realize this, you realize you can be in charge of how you think of other people. You just think differently, and then you change how those other people exist for you. For you. They may exist in a different way for other people, but for you, because you're able to change your mind from being negative to positive, then for you they become an object of love, an object of compassion. And all because the way everyone exists is not from their own side, it's only from the side of your own mind. The way everyone exists is simply as appearances. So you can check this out, for example, if you imagine that everyone in the room is thinking about you. You've done this many times in the past. If everyone in the room is thinking about you, then there's something like 20 people, 20 versions of you. Yeah? Right? Where do these 20 versions exist? In people's minds. Now, which is the real one? Which is the main one, the most valid one? Is it the one that you have when you're thinking about yourself? Or is it the one your neighbour has? When someone is close to you, someone you've never met before? Which is the most valid one? They're all the same. They're all equally valid with respect to the mind that is thinking about you. So you come to realize that the way you exist is simply dependent upon who's thinking about you. And there are many versions of that. And all of them are just appearances to mind. And if you search for the real self, in the same way when you can't find your body, you can't find yourself either. All you can find is a thought, me, or whatever your name is. You don't believe me, do you? You think, oh, I'm pretty real, I can feel myself. Well, this is just touch, and touch is part of your mind. Yeah, we have 5 senses. We have eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body, touch. And so when you do this, you think, oh, I'm touching something real. But touch itself is simply appearance to mind. It's no different from what appears to our eye senses, or what appears to our ear senses, or sense of smell, or sense of taste. So, I think the best thing to do is just to meditate, so you just disappear into empty space. Okay, so just, yeah. So sit in good meditation posture again. And we're going to meditate on the emptiness of ourself that arises from realizing that we ourselves are unfindable. So start with an image of who you are. And you can realize it's something to do with your physical form, but also something to do with your history, where you came from, what you've done in the past. Is something to do with your relationships with places, and your relationships with other people, and your relationships with the things you enjoy, and all the beliefs that you hold. And these all go in together to make up your concept of who you are. And yet we have an image, we have an image that appears to us when you think of yourself. And we're just thinking of one thing, myself. And we're thinking of a self that exists, whether we're thinking about it or not. It just exists from its own side. Sometimes it's difficult to develop a clear image of yourself. It appears most easily when you have an extreme of emotion, such as great fear or great excitement. So you can imagine, for example, that you're hearing the best possible news you could ever hear. Or you could think that the ground is opening up underneath you and you're falling into a great abyss. In these times of extreme emotion, then yourself can appear most easily. So try to have a very clear image of the self you normally see. And so if you really exist in that way, we should be able to find you. We can look within the body, within the mind, within the body and mind together, or separate from body and mind. Within the body, within the mind, within body and mind together, or separate from body and mind. And when we look for ourselves within the body, we easily see that there's no single part of our body that is ourself. It's not our skin, it's not our head, not our inner organs. These are all things other than self. Again, some people would say, well, it's the collection of all these parts of your body that is yourself. But again, the collection is just a collection of non-bodies or non-selves. No matter how many non-selves we have, none of them can become a self. And also, if there's a thing called collection, we take away all the parts, then the collection disappears. In the same way as if we have a forest, we cut down all the trees, then there is no forest. So neither any individual part of your body nor the collection of parts of your body is yourself. And again, we say my body, as if self is the owner of the thing called body, and the owner and the thing that is owned can never be the same. So we can check to see if our mind is ourself. But our mind has many different components, and we have many different types of mind. We have a mind of faith, mind of anger, mind of attachment, mind of consideration, and so on. We have many different types of mind, but we only have one self. And also we say, my mind. I made up my mind, I changed my mind. Again, thinking that self is the owner of mind, and they cannot be the same. So we cannot find a self within the body or within the mind. Perhaps it's the combination of these two. But again, both of these, neither of these is a self. And so, even if we put two non-selves together, they cannot become a self. The only place left to look is for a self that exists separately from body and mind. But again, you can never think of yourself without thinking of either your body or part of it, or your mind. So whenever you think of yourself simultaneously, either your body or your mind appears. And if your self could exist separately from body and mind, you could say, my body and mind are here, but my real self is somewhere else, which doesn't make any sense. So we've searched within the body, within the mind, within the collection of body and mind, and for a self that exists separately from body and mind. But we have not found it. We've not found that self that we normally see, that inherently existent, existing from its own side, existing from the side of the object, self. We have not found it because it is unfindable. And then once we realize it is unfindable, if you turn your mind back to that image of yourself, the self you normally see, and you think it is unfindable, therefore it doesn't exist. It is unfindable, therefore it doesn't exist. And so that image of yourself just begins to dissolve away into empty space. Until it's almost just like a boundary of light. And then even the boundary of light disappears. All that remains is empty space. So this empty space has great meaning. This is the ultimate nature of you. So place your mind on this space-like emptiness of yourself. Just allow your mind to relax into this space-like emptiness of yourself, where that image that you had at the beginning has completely disappeared into empty space. And think, this is the ultimate nature of me, the emptiness of me. And just allow your mind to relax into that experience of emptiness. Some people will experience great joy. Other people may experience a feeling of fear. Both are valid. Fear is if you're dissolving into nothing, or joy as if you feel that you have a blank slate to write on. You can completely start anew. And then ask yourself the question, who is meditating on the emptiness of myself? Who or what is meditating on the emptiness of myself? And perhaps the answer comes. Just a thought, me. Or just a name. Whatever your name is. Try to have a real feeling of the emptiness of yourself. How, in reality, you're simply an appearance to your own mind. And the same when other people think of you or perceive you, your appearance to their mind. And there's no object that exists separate from mind. And yet we still exist simply as name and simply as appearance. That appearance is a conceptual thought. So now you can begin to relax your concentration. So, the question then, if everyone is realizing the emptiness of themselves, and that emptiness is the ultimate nature of each person, what is the real difference between any individual? What's the real difference between anyone in this room? It's simply a thought, nothing else. So when you think, you come to realize this, you realize how it is possible to have a loving feeling towards anyone. It depends on you. It doesn't depend upon them, how they appear, what size and shape or colour they are, a male or female, or it doesn't matter. It's then possible to have a loving feeling towards everyone, because ultimately everyone is the same. Imagine if you have 10 bottles, all different colours and all different shapes and sizes, and the space inside them, they're all empty. And the space inside them is essentially all the same. It looks different because they're different colours and different sizes. But if you shatter all the external aspects of the bottles, shatter them all together, you can't distinguish between any of them. And so ultimately, we're all the same. Sorry about that. Because we spend so much time thinking how special we are, and in order to differentiate ourselves from other people. But in reality, we're all the same. The nature of emptiness, just a thought. Okay, so we need to hear these teachings time and time again, and because we've been thinking exactly the opposite. We've been mistakenly thinking exactly the opposite, that things and objects exist from their own side. But when you try to investigate, you discover there's nothing there. It's just what we think is a solid entity, a solid object. When you explore what is the real thing, it just disappears into emptiness, and you realize it's just a thought. So think about it when you go out to your car. What am I getting into? And then ask yourself, who will get into your car? Who will go home? Who will waken in the morning? Who will go to work? Who has friends? Who was born? Who will die? Just ask yourself these questions. If you've got Any questions right now? No? So you're all in a state of shock. Yes, okay. Good, good, good. We need to break into our mind to allow it to become more flexible, so we can stop having problems. We come to realize when we're having problems, it's something to do with our own mind. It's not to do with what appears externally. It's something to do with the way we think about it. We just realize this, there's nothing coming from the side of the object. So we just change our mind, how we think about the object, and then we change the object, because there is no object. I mean, in the West we tend to think subject and object. In reality, they're both the same. Okay, that's enough. Sudhana is telling me to promote this class on this half-day course on Saturday called The Wisdom of Emptiness. So do come along and we'll explore this wisdom more. You can see how this wisdom will interact with the mind of compassion, because it enables us to be compassionate to more people. At the moment, we're compassionate and loving towards people we like. And there's other people we don't like. I mean, they're the last people we want to be compassionate towards. Well, we're restricting ourselves unnecessarily. Buddhists don't do this. Buddhists have love and compassion for everyone without exception. You can't go around saying, I want to get enlightened so I can save or help everyone except you. We include everybody in our mind of love and compassion. And the way we can do that is because everyone is the same. Ultimately, just the nature of emptiness. Okay, thank you so much.